So I've made quite a few Avatar The Last Airbender versus battle videos, and now I figured why not put them all together and figure out the top 15 most powerful Avatar The Last Airbender characters. Like, share, and subscribe, as well as comment down below on any thoughts you have about this video. Now before getting right into the video, let me just state that I'm only going to be using the characters from the 3 seasons of Avatar The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon, not from Legend of Korra or anywhere else, just the 3 seasons. Now let's begin with number 15, Admiral Xiao. Well, he was the student of Master Jang, one of the best firebenders throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe, who actually even taught Avatar Roku firebending, which on its own is impressive given that he would have been taught a variety of different ways of being a great firebender. And he actually was a great firebender, given that him simply being a commander or an admiral implies him to be better than most other firebenders, and he was even able to momentarily hold his own against both Zuko and Avatar Aang in season 1 of the Avatar The Last Airbender series. Next up, Master Pando. Well, he is a highly experienced non-bender. Actually, he's stated to be the most powerful non-bender throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe, capable of defeating a variety of different Soldier's Comet empowered firebenders during their entire attack against the Fire Nation. Next up, we've got Hama. Now, Hama is also a great waterbender. Actually, she was able to hold her own against Qatara in season 3 of Avatar The Last Airbender when they were just using basic waterbending. She, on top of that, even gave Qatara a much larger arsenal by teaching Qatara different ways of attacking and different ways or places to draw water from, naturally making Qatara more powerful and showing how powerful Hama herself actually is. Next up, we've got Master Zhang. Well, as I've stated, he was the master of Admiral Xiao. Admiral Xiao was also one of the best firebenders throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe, naturally implying that Master Zhang actually taught him very, very well. And he was able to defeat a variety of different firebenders during his run in the Avatar universe. And I know we don't have a lot of feats from Master Zhang, but the simple fact that he was able to fly and do all of this during Sozin's Comet implies that his firebending is more powerful than most other firebenders, given that he was the only other firebender to be capable of producing this much fire and fly whilst doing so. So naturally, I believe his general firebending is more powerful than most other firebenders, and he's also highly experienced. Next up, I've got Zuko. Zuko is obviously one of the best firebenders, one of the most powerful characters throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe, being quite physically strong, fast, durable, and a great martial artist, especially with his dual swords. And to top all of that off, his firebending is quite impressive, especially after being given fire from the original firebenders, that being the dragons, that naturally amplified his firebending to another level. Next up, we've got the Swamp Monster from Master Who. Now, this Swamp Monster is obviously more powerful in an actual swamp, but on the regular basis, it is still quite powerful. I mean, Qatara and Aang and Sokka really struggled against them in Book 2 or Season 2 of Avatar The Last Airbender, which on its own shows how powerful it actually was if it was able to face off against both Aang and Qatara at the same time. Now, I do understand that it did have a lot of access to vines, which allowed it to keep going in the fight, but nevertheless, the simple fact that it proved that much of a challenge to these masters implies that it is still insanely powerful, and on a regular basis it is able to destroy tanks and throw around other very powerful characters. Next up, I've got Master Pacu. Well, Master Pacu was capable of defeating Qatara in season 1 of Avatar The Last Airbender, and she was already a great waterbender, one of the best throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe, and he easily defeated her, showing that he is way more experienced, way better skilled in just general combat skills and with using waterbending, as he's able to attack in a variety of different ways with general waterbending, then able to turn his waterbending into ice very quickly and attack in a variety of different ways with the ice he now has, naturally implying that his power is quite extreme. And as I stated already, the Swamp Monster was able to fight Qatara and Aang for an extended period of time because it had a constant stream of vines available to it, which means out of that swamp on a regular basis, it might not be able to keep fighting like it did there. And Master Pacu, having the massive arsenal that he has, I think would be able to actually defeat the Swamp Monster if he fought it outside of its natural environment. Next up, I've got Combustion Man. Now, Combustion Man is a very tricky person to scale because he's never necessarily lost a fight, but he's never necessarily won a one-on-one fight either. I mean, I guess the fact that Team Avatar always runs away from him kind of implies that he's won those fights, but they are never actually one-on-one battles, and every member of Team Avatar, or almost every member of Team Avatar, has showed the capabilities of actually blocking attacks from Combustion Man, and almost all of them also have a much larger arsenal than Combustion Man. So it is a bit of a tricky concept, given that they always do run away from him, given the natural danger he poses with his abilities. And to top that off, he's quite physically strong, highly skilled in martial arts, and insanely durable to top all of that off, as he's been able to tank attacks from a few powerful characters. And to be honest, he's even been able to tank his own attacks, which naturally shows how powerful he is, given that his own attacks have been able to take out a variety of other very powerful characters. Next up, I've got Qatara. Well, Qatara is one of the most powerful characters throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe. Actually, in season 1 of Avatar The Last Airbender, she was one of the most powerful waterbenders throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe, and she just constantly got more powerful. We saw her portray a lot more feats and a lot more ways of attacking in season 2, and then we saw even more in season 3, especially after she was trained by Hama and got an even larger arsenal with her ability to draw water from almost anywhere and then use it for offensive reasons and defensive reasons, turn it into ice and attack in a variety of different ways there. And I do understand she's almost always ran away from Combustion Man, but she does still have a much larger arsenal than Combustion Man. She has the ability of blocking one of his attacks and attacking in a different direction, and it's not like Combustion Man's attacks are instant. He does kind of need a couple seconds to build it up to be a powerful one, and if you actually attack his head, he's more or less GG's and he can't actually attack you. So I believe that a fight between Combustion Man and Qatara would be a very tricky one, but I do believe Qatara has the capabilities of actually defeating Combustion Man, given how powerful and versatile she actually is. Next up, I've got Tooff. Well, Tooff is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful earthbender throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe. She has an insanely large arsenal. She's been able to defeat a variety of older and more experienced earthbenders by just using earth in way more different ways than they are, and she has a lot of power with that earthbending, being able to hold up the entire library whilst it was sinking, and she was actually surrounded by sand at that time, which was a disadvantage to her, showing how much raw power she actually has. And to top that off, by the end of the series, she actually has sand bending abilities and she has metal bending abilities, naturally implying that her arsenal is kind of greater than most other characters throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe. Next up, I've got Azula. Well, Azula is also one of the most powerful characters throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe. I mean, her signature blue flames just show how powerful her fire actually is, being more powerful than most other characters, to the point where most characters actually fear her, and to the point where even Iroh considered her to be an actual threat, and further implying how powerful she actually is. She's able to attack in a variety of different ways, able to use her firebending in more ways than most other characters, and then she also has lightning bending on top of that, which is, of course, a one-shot win. Next up, I've got Uncle Iroh himself. Well, Iroh is almost always implied to be easily one of the most powerful characters throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe. He's able to defeat a variety of different waterbenders, earthbenders, and firebenders. He's many times been implied to be in the hierarchy of power in the Fire Nation, and Zuko actually believed him to be the only person who could properly defeat Lord Oza, and to be honest, it is a possibility. He could have been one of the only people to actually defeat Lord Oza, further implying how powerful he actually is. And he was also given fire from the original firebenders, and he also has lightning bending. So his arsenal is actually insanely large. He has many years of experience. He's a great martial artist, and his firebending is naturally insanely powerful. Next up, I've got Boommy. Boommy is one of the oldest characters throughout the entirety of the Avatar The Last Airbender universe, naturally meaning he has many years of experience, and with his earthbending, he's insanely powerful, as he's able to attack in a variety of different ways, able to attack with just one part of his body, able to turn rock into sand and then attack with that sand by turning it into quicksand or just sand bending it. And in general, his earthbending is insanely powerful, as him being able to throw around massive boulders, or him being able to drop Lord Oza's statue, which on its own was insanely large and quite far away from him. And I do understand that many people might not be happy about me putting Boommy above Iroh, but if you go back and watch my Iroh vs Boommy video, I think you'll understand why I'm putting Boommy above Iroh. Next up, I've got Lord Oza himself. Well, he's been implied many a times to be more or less the most powerful firebender throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe. Though Iroh did have the capabilities of defeating him, even Iroh himself wasn't sure if he could actually defeat Lord Oza because of how powerful Oza actually was. He's a great martial artist, being stronger, faster, and more durable than most other characters throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe. His firebending is naturally insanely powerful, and he obviously has lightning bending on top of that, which is of course a one-shot win. So yeah, Lord Oza has more or less been implied from the start of the series to be kind of the most powerful firebender throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe, and that's also one of the most powerful characters throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe. And obviously, at number 1, we've got Avatar Aang himself. I don't think I have to say much about this. He is the Avatar, naturally meaning he has to be more powerful than most other characters throughout the entirety of the Avatar universe, being able to attack in a variety of different ways with these different elements. I will say, Aang himself was an insanely powerful character because he was a master at such a young age and was already able to defeat a variety of characters. Actually, quite a few characters on this list Aang himself could have been able to defeat. So with the Avatar state and all the other elements, he's easily defeating every single other character I've mentioned so far, and it's just not even much of a challenge, to be honest, because he was also easily able to defeat Fire Lord Oza whilst he was empowered by Sozan's Comet. So yeah, Avatar Aang is obviously the most powerful character throughout the Avatar universe. Anyway, that's all I've got for y'all for today. I'm sure many people are going to have a lot of comments and thoughts about this. It's completely understandable. If y'all do, please leave them down below. This is MC Info, and I'm out.